Yes, my background is sports coaching. I'm a mental coach, sport psychologist. So I accompany individual sports. I was a mental coach for tennis players, for golf players, because golf is really a mental game. For those who did receive some golf balls, you know the impact of the mind on the way we play. And for the last Olympics, for the last 4 or 5 Olympics, I'm coaching teams. I'm currently the mental coach of the Belgian hockey team, field hockey team. So we are quite performing. We won the gold medal in Tokyo, we silver medal in Rio. So we are quite in an improving mode. The mental part is key. Of course, we need technical skills, we need physical skills, but we need also mental skills. And my contribution is always about the mental part, the mental game. Managing pressure, managing stress, working together, self-confidence, trust, motivation, and so on. So what I will share with you this morning is more about tools, practical tools, not philosophy, not theory. You will be my players for 15, 20 minutes. So I use my tablet, because you know in sports we don't show PowerPoint. At half, you know this sign, timeout. Timeout, the coach, we look at the scoreboard, 1-0 up, 2-0, 0-1, 0-2, and depending on the score, we coach. So today we coach, so I'm used to use my tablet. Maybe it's not perfect, but it's efficient anyway. So when we refer to sport and sustainable performance, sustainable health have been really a main concern. And of course, we have great examples. Huh? I remember examples from some top athletes. Here you see probably, you know, those top athletes here. You know Michael Phelps. And Michael Phelps had some mental health issues, so he talked about it. So it's no more hidden performance. Simon Biles, of course, Naomi Osaka. So we did learn a lot from those top business cases, sports cases. How can we better manage mental health, and how can we really integrate physical health, mental health, emotional health, but also the spiritual health. So this is really based, it's for the last 5, 6, 7 years that we really talk about mental health in sport, that we reveal that we are weak and vulnerable. So based on that, we develop many, many tools, new tools, that help us really to better manage individuals and teams. So don't confuse the difference between Simon Biles, Novak Djokovic, top athletes, and just participants. It's huge. Why those people stay for 10, 15, 20 years at the top? It's about sustainable health. How to maintain sustainable performance. That's the key issue. First, we need to perform, we need to deliver, how to reach the top, but how to stay at the top. So don't confuse what we call the participants. You enter in the Olympic Village and you have 10,000 athletes, not 10,000 performers. 9,000 of them, they just are happy to participate. Participant mindset. Here we have 300 participants, Andrew. Congratulations. But do we have here 300 performers or champions? Maybe not. Just a participant. Nice to be here, nice to be qualified, but I will not wear the shirt. I'm just there, passive, listening to the speeches, listening to the speakers. That's the participant mindset. Above the participant mindset, we have the performer mindset. Oh, those guys, they enter in the Olympic Village to prove that they deserve to be there. They want to beat their personal record, personal best, in swimming, in running, and so on. That's a performance mindset. They wear the shirt. They contribute to participate. They really are proactive. And then we enter in the next category, the champion mindset. Those guys, they don't come to perform. They come to be on the podium. They want to get a medal. They want to get a trophy. You know, the All Blacks, the Djokovic, the Alcaraz, the Federer, they don't come to participate. They don't come to perform. Only one objective is to be the number one. And that's a champion mindset. We have, in the Olympic Village, we have 2-3% of that champion mindset, many participants, many performers, but proper champions. Above the champions, we have the next category in the Olympic Village, the legend. Wow, what is a legend? Those guys, they won 5 titles. They won 20 Grand Slam. They won many majors in golf. So legends like Tiger Woods, Djokovic, Nadal, Michael Phelps, Michael Jordan, and so on. So top Usain Bolt, top athletes, legends. Those guys, they make their impact. And then we have the last category. Oh. So guys, where are you on the pitch? The last category, that's the greatest of all time. But we call that in sport, we call that the immortal. Immortal like Muhammad Ali, Ayrton Senna, Pelé, Maradona. Those guys, they make history. They transform something bigger than their sport. It's all about legacy at that level. Legacy. How do I want to be remembered? What will be my legacy? I receive a jersey from a club, from a company, and I will transform the company. It's about legacy. It's about footprint. And remember, Muhammad Ali is a good example of being immortal, the young black male fighting in the United States against the white power. So that's legacy. You are bigger than your sport. Where are you today with your company? Where are you? Are you there, performer? Are you just a participant? Maybe in your business you are a champion. Maybe you have been a legend and you are regressing. I don't know. But ask yourself, what is my contribution today? What could be my legacy, my contribution to make a difference? Legacy is always out of your comfort zone. You never let a legacy in your comfort zone. It means that that's the extra mile. Legacy could be, it's not money making. Legacy, it's about talent detection. It's about people management. It's about innovation, creativity, team builder. That's legacy. People will remember you because you make a footprint, you make an impact. What will be your impact in your organization? Safety impact, health impact, well-being impact? That will be the legacy. We analyze a lot this category, those guys. How to stay at the top for 10, 15, 20 years. And that's all about sustainable health. And so what do they teach us? Sustainable health. Is it readable? Is it okay? Tell me. Sustainable health. And that was a nice declaration from Novak Djokovic recently. He said, we stay at the top for two reasons. It's a question of balance, balancing. On one side, delivery, quality delivery, spending energy to win the game. And in tennis, it could be 3, 4, 5 hours of intense battle. So it's spending energy. But also the balance with recovery. Recovery, balancing delivery and recovery. So that's really the focus of the athlete. And balancing delivery and recovery creates well-being. Because on one side, we spend energy to deliver, and on the other side, we recover. This is about spending energy, and this one is about recovering, uploading energy. Well-being is the mix, the balance between the energy that we spend on one side and the energy that we recover on the other side. In many organizations, it's all focused on delivery, delivery, delivery. We don't know what is the concept of recovery. So today we need really to care. Leading by caring is the motto. Leading by caring means that today we need to help people to recover. It's not intensity of the delivery. They deliver, they produce results, but they are exhausted. Not because of intense delivery, but because of lack of recovery. Does it make sense for you? So that's the concept. Top athletes, they know that recovery is part of performance. Recovery here, recovery is part of performance. Recovery is part of, on one side, performance. And for many athletes, they understand that recovery is part of my salary. Oh. I am paid to recover. And that's a concept that we have to transmit. Of course you are paid to deliver, but you are also paid to recover. Recovery is part of performance. So we need to intensify the concept of recovery. Delivery, we know. We stretch people, deliver more. In recovery, it's not less is more. Of course, less is more. Because you know that Djokovic said, I maintain my top level of performance because every year I select my battles. When I was young, I played 35 weeks per year competitions. Today, I play 20 competitions, but with more focus, more intensity, and more quality. Less is more. Every optimization starts with a reduction. It's not by doing more that we improve. It's by doing less with more quality. So recovery is part of performance. Recovery is part of my salary. And I think that that's one of the key concepts. In athletes, in sports, we understand that. So it's all about caring. It's about self-care. We divide between self-care. It's about people care. How can we better manage our people? People care. And then we define a third category, which is team care. So today, the concept of caring is divided in three parts. How can we intensify the self-care part for the athlete, the people care as team leader, and the team care as the glue? Let me give you some tips on the three elements. On the self-care part, mentioned by Veronica, yes, we cover the 4 axes of energy. Of course, the physical axis, physical energy, the mental energy, what you call the social energy. In sport, we call that the emotional energy. Managing pressure, managing stress, managing intensity, managing my feelings. And then we have the spiritual energy. Spiritual energy, the power of why. Why do I do what I do? Why did you decide to join the Congress? Why did I decide to accept to come and spend 20 minutes with you? The why, the power of why. The physical, the body. Mental, focus, the mind. Emotional, managing emotions. And the spiritual, why do I do what I do? So we have tips on every of the domain. This afternoon, I will animate a workshop. I will detail the physical recovery, mental recovery, spiritual recovery. How can we activate the different sources of energy? When we refer to people care, we activate what we call the painkillers. We know that stretching people for growth produce, of course, discomfort. When we manage the discomfort, our athletes, they accept the discomfort because of 4 painkillers, 4 pain relievers. What are the 4 painkillers? The first painkiller is the sense. The question is always why? Why? And the why is always in the future. I like Simon Sinek, but I say to Simon, because I teach also in Princeton, and so sometimes we are colleagues, I say the why is one of the key elements, but the why is always in the future. Why do we do things? Because of tomorrow. Why are you invited today? Not to remove or to solve the past, but to prepare the future, the transformation. So the future is the key element. The main source of energy for people is visibility and perspective. I was last week for 3 days in Israel, in Tel Aviv. Of course, because of the war, there is a lack of perspective. 2 days later, I was animating a session for University of Kiev in Ukraine. Lack of perspective. I tell them, even if you don't know when and how, we need to communicate about the where we go, where we want to go, where we want to go after those troubled moments. You need to express an ambition, the why, the light in the tunnel. What means the light in the tunnel? Let me show you an example of what means the light in the tunnel. Don't manage your people like that. Today, sometimes in some corporations, there is too much short-term perspective, short-term ambition. My recommendation, with short-term, nobody will feel safe and secure in a dark tunnel. So the first element that creates safety, psychological safety, is visibility, perspective. Show where we go. Show that there is an end at the end, there is a vision at the end of the tunnel. Show people that we have midterm ambition. Show people that we have a roadmap. Show the roadmap. The more people see the light in the tunnel, the more they feel safe and secure. Nobody will ever take an initiative in a dark tunnel. So psychological safety starts with perspective and visibility. Make it visible. Communicate about the ambition. Communicate about the visibility, the roadmap. And then people feel safe because they see that there is light in the tunnel. And that's psychological safety. There people will take risks. They will be audacious. They will be bold and taking initiative because they have the visibility. They will become proactive and they will anticipate. So that's for me the energy source number 1 in people care. Provide perspective. Show where we go. We don't know when and how, but we know where we go. That's for me the basic foundation of people care. The second painkiller is give people focus. People today are lost in details. There is too much on the plate. The backpack is too heavy. If you want to run faster, run less is more. So the less is more concept is really for me a key element, focus. Less is more is all about priorities. Priorities. In sport, we use one methodology, which is the magic tree. The magic tree. When we have an agenda, we have always the golden goal, the silver, and the bronze. 3. On the Olympic podium, you don't have 10 positions. You have 3 people. The gold medal, the silver, and the bronze. The ultimate simplification is 3. On one axis, you are unstable. On 2 axes, unstable. The first element of stability is a tripod. 3. So 3 priorities, 3 advices. So the ultimate simplification is coming back to the magic tree. What are the 3 advices that I give to my players, to my employees, to my people? More than 3, and you are lost in details. Give sense, give focus. The next painkiller is give support. Be there, support, be accessible. It's all about be accessible, be available. I see many managers today, one day jumping from meeting to meeting to meeting. I know I had to make an intake with the CEO for a speech that I give next week. It took me 3 weeks before I could find half an hour in his agenda. Is that the way you support your people? Is that the way you are accessible and available? When people call you because they need you, you should answer, react immediately. I think that today, in a fast-changing world, really busy, you know the concept of busy is the new stupid. So, how to make you available and accessible, how to give support. When you don't give support, people feel stressed. I can give you the formula of why do people accept stretch. We stretch them to better delivery. Stretch. When you stretch people, stretch on one side plus support. Stretch plus support, plus sense, plus focus means growth. We grow because we are stretched, but we get the support that we need. If you have stretch minus support, without support, what is the output of stretch without support is stress. Do you stretch your people or do you stress your people? So when you provide the appropriate support, automatically people feel safe and secure because you give sense, you give focus, you give support. There is a last painkiller that could be maybe relevant for you. The last painkiller is give people praise. Today we have to praise the effort. In the past, we were praising the result. Today, support the effort. Encourage the effort. The more they try, the more they will succeed. So praise means it's all about recognition, celebration. Of course, maybe in sport we celebrate too much. But in corporations, sometimes we don't take the time to celebrate. 1 minute celebration, 1 minute congratulation, celebration, recognition. Keep it simple, make it visible. Recognition. The magic combination of simplicity and visibility. That's for the people care. For the team care, maybe I can give you one advice for the team care to explain how do we manage teams. It's all about what we call the team glue. How to intensify the feeling of collaboration, working together. I let you see, by example, you mentioned bouncing back. That's resilience. You see the green team here. The green team, we lost. Okay, we lose a game, but we will bounce back and we will win the next game. That's the concept of resilience. It's nice resilience. But if you want to connect resilience and performance, there is a problem with resilience, is that you never bounce higher. You bounce back, but you don't bounce higher. You don't learn from what did happen. So I prefer the blue team. Same size, same material, but look at the difference between the two teams. Oh. One team is bouncing back, the other team is bouncing higher. My Olympic teams are bouncing higher. Bouncing back, you come back to the initial state. What did you learn? Nothing. We are back to the initial state. What we want is learning from the initial state, learning from the happening, transforming happening into learning. Don't confuse happening and learning. A happening is something happened. The learning is what did I analyze? Step back, take time out, pit stop, so that you can step back. So the team glue starts with, sometimes you have teams like this one. I think I have the third team. Yes. The green team bouncing back, the blue team bouncing high. Sometimes in support creation you have the red team. What means the red team? It's, oh, fatalism, resignation. Thank you, Andrew, to invite Coach Alain, but we are not Olympic athletes. It will not be applicable for us. Guys, I tell you, it will be applicable. Self-care, people care, team care, it's universal. That you are a top athlete, that you are an employee, a manager, it's all about managing performance, managing well-being, managing energy. So where is your team today? Deflated? Resignation? Is it just a soft team or is it a compact team? So the team glue is a key element. If you want really to create collaboration, connecting, working together, the glue is the key element. What are the 3 main components of glue? First, the clarity of the common goal. We need to have a common objective. And that common goal must be crystal clear. At group level, at division level, at department level, at team level, at individual level, what is the common goal? What is my contribution? What do we want to achieve? The second element is clarity of the common frame. The framework. The framework means the rules, the regulations, the roles, the perimeters. My players on the pitch, they receive the ball, the frame, the limits of a soccer team, a basketball pitch are clear. It's up to you to play with the ball. That's empowerment. We clarify the frame and we let them play. Framing is not a limitation. Framing stimulates more autonomy. I give you an example. It's a sunny weekend, sunny day like today outside in Berlin, and you go a Saturday or Sunday, the weekend, you go to the park with your kids. You enter the park with your kids, and the park is well framed. What do you do with the kids? You let them play. They are safe. If you enter in the park and there are gray zones, what do you do with the kids? You run behind the kids. Stop to run behind the kids. Frame, more freedom. Less frame, more control. Framing is not a limitation. Inside the frame, my players are free to make the choice. You dribble, you pass the ball, you shoot on target, it's your choice. So the frame is really, the common frame is a key element of the glue. The common goal, the common frame. And the third element is mutual trust. But it's a chronology. It's trust because the goal is clear and the frame is clear. And then I trust you. So the quality of the glue will intensify the quality of the working together. All together, self-care, people care, team care, that's the way today we manage pressure. Thank you.